6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I didn't fix that one. Hang on, John. Let me fix that one. Let me fix that one, John. Give me 1 second. But that's exciting though. It's just half of John's head.
And that's a lot to miss.
Give me a second. Don't move.
All right.
There.
Hey.
There we go.
Hello, everybody.
I fixed all of them but that one. I gotta switch them all out because Pete's not here, so that automatic, the long story short, that thing automatically switches over. So I had to change you and him out. So when it's automatically switches over, I have you there and not just a blank screen where Pete is supposed to be. So, but welcome. Hey everybody. I'm the Tipsy Toaster, and tonight New York Pete looks funny. Or New York Pete looks a little different, but we have John 1 with us, so it's Cylon Rule Night.
Hello, everybody. That's right,
Cylon's Rule Night. We don't have those pesky colonial guys. So anyways, welcome. We are a pop culture sci-fi broadcast. We enjoy these 70s, 80s, 90s, mostly sci-fi pop culture things. We like to talk to the people that are behind the scenes, as well as people in front of the cameras and behind the cameras, and the people, authors. We got a great night tonight. We have an author. We also do have a CGI artist as well, and we got a full thing tonight. And Pete will finally be joining us later on when he is done doing whatever heck he's doing. I guess his Viper ran out of fuel, but anyways, he'll get here when he gets here. So till then,
He's on the side height.
We're locked.
Taking stuff out for gas.
Yeah, how would you fuel? I guess mid-flight, they guess they have something there, right? They have to do something like the Air Force does now. You never saw that in the show.
No, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be interesting to see. Tanker fuel.
But Cylons had tankers, so
yeah,
I guess Colonials didn't have that smarts enough to do that because the Cylons had the tankers.
Well, the Cylons are smarter.
That's right.
They have more brains.
even Apollo says it. They're smarter than faster. But they just don't fly well, evidently, because they keep getting shot down. Let's see what we got tonight. We have Trey's out there. Steven's out there. He's headed to Lansing this weekend to see Aaron Douglas and Mark. Air producer. I think, we're going to try to get out to, what's the one next weekend? Shore Leave. Shore Leave will have
Shore Leave, yeah.
Aaron Douglas and is it Aaron Douglas? Chief?
Aaron Douglas, the chief from Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica and Boomer.
Oh.
So hopefully we got to see them and just say hi.
Yeah.
I've seen them before, but it'd be nice to get a hold of them. We got Robert's on, our fact checker, Fran. Fran says, "Break out the water hoses, rust those suckers." Never. Look, it didn't. We didn't rust on what was it? Not Aquelas. Oh, somebody's gonna get me on this one too.
That was on
the planet where at least we don't rust.
Young Lords. Oh, that was the Young Lords, right? When they
Young
were
Lords
searching for them in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that planet?
Jane McCoy's on. Looks like Chuck's out there. Hey, Chuck. Going out the airlock. I know. I just saw that tonight, Chuck. That looks amazing, by the way. He just sent us another CG piece for the Stranded Warrior.
Wow.
Attila. Eric Patton's right on there. Attila. That's it. I think Aquelas because we've been working with the Lost Warrior and the Stranded Warrior so much. Aquelas just kicks in. Robert also got it. Yeah. Young Lords, Attila. Yeah, it looks like everybody's got it. The Omega Sector. Yeah. Oh wow. Now we're really getting into this.
That's a prize right there.
Yeah.
You know that.
So,
That's a star.
anyways, Pete is out tonight, and luckily we got John, so that's not a problem at all, because we don't need Pete.
Working
So
on
he
my
should be
social
joining us.
therapy right now.
He might be joining us later. You got your minions there? They're running
Yeah,
around?
they're hopping around. Yeah, the ones on my foot now. Grab me now, looking at me.
Well, oh, okay. What about the Daggett?
The Daggett is on my foot, and the other one's over there somewhere.
Have you got a libation for the evening?
I have one, but I haven't got my beer. brown bottle in the refrigerator. Yeah, the trick.
Oh, minion.
I'm training my
minion.
minion to get the purple one.
Beer fetcher.
The brown beer, Wyatt.
The brown one. Not to be confused with the yellow one.
It's on the bottom. I was telling him I need a drink. And he's like, okay, put it in the freezer. I'm like, I get a drink. I get the toast.
That's it. So we always toast everybody. We always toast the fans and everybody every holiday. And so this tonight is brought to you by Fran, Superfan Fran. Again, we're actually getting close to running out there. We're close to the ends there for Superfan Fran. But tonight I have, let's see, let me switch to me so we can get the right one there. I have a robust porter. And this is an award-winning Bell's Porter. And this is from Comstock, Michigan. Brewed and bottled by Bell's Brewery Incorporated. Ta-da! That's what I have tonight. Woof! I hear the... Yep, and now we have them.
I have Mackenzie's. Mackenzie's cider. Right over here, Mackenzie's.
Oops, wrong one.
Bottled in upstate New York.
It's got to be a cider. What's up with you guys, with New Yorkers and ciders?
It's a good day today. Today I was out doing the lawn.
That's it. All right, so I'll open this up.
Right there.
You already opened yours.
Yes, I grabbed that as I go. I don't know if I had a pop stop.
Punk. And I'm actually drinking out of an Adama glass tonight. Commander Adama.
Minions don't know how alcohol tastes like in glass bottles, but they're learning. So at least he knows how to get the. At least he's trying to get the brown bottle.
That's it. Let's see what this one looks like. Oh, it's dark. I love porters. Porters are nice and dark and thick. It's got quite the head on it.
No, so looking at the head, I was like, wow.
I'll be drinking head for the first couple of minutes.
Holy cow.
But anyways.
That's a pretty big head on there.
Yeah. It's definitely a thick one. So anyways, we always drink to the fans, so we thank you for coming out. We thank McCoy and Robert and David and I need the thing like Pete does every week. You know, I need I see Johnny and I see Michael and I see
James.
I see James and I see
Trey.
But anyways, this is for all the fans out there who are Battlestar Galactica fans and sci-fi fans and everything else. Those who write the books, those who create the universes, those who relive the universes that like we do. This is to you because what do we say, John?
Fans feed the fleet.
Fans feel the fleet. Thank you. Dark, like my soul. Bitter, like no, just kidding. Bitter, just like me.
After years of working.
That's it. Someday I'll retire. Although I love my job way too much, and this living indoors and eating and that's kind of important. So I got to keep doing that work thing so I have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I have two big monkey wrenches running around reminding me that I won't be able to retire anytime soon.
Yeah, anti-retirement 1 and anti-retirement 2.
Yep.
Oh, but they're great. That's your legacy, man. That is your legacy. That's what you brought them into the world, and you can take them out. But you brought them into the world, and they are going to carry on the family line. Yeah, blah blah. Look at that! What happens, sir? The family lines.
My mother's very happy because I'm getting payback from what I'm calling her.
Ah, yeah. That is back. Thanks, Mom. You wished this on me. You cursed me like this. Gotta love it. So, anyhow, we'll go ahead and I'll let you introduce our first guest.
Our first guest is an author, by the name of Charles Hack, and he actually writes a book, a warfare group of space military sci-fi. It's very good for high-paced action. It's called Into the Darkness, and he has another one coming out. I think came out yesterday, the 27th. It's a very good book if you like action, if you like espionage, if you like military sci-fi without all the other stuff, just straight action. This is the book to read.
And here he is.
The second one.
Turn the audio on. There we go. Now we're good.
Okay.
It's the ONOFF switch was in the OFF position. Welcome, Charles. Charles or Charlie, or what do you go by?
Charles.
Charles.
Yeah. Or, well, whatever you would like.
I can change the lower third if you want.
Yeah.
Just a hack? No.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on, and your books, like you said, another one just came out, and I unfortunately don't know them well as John does. I read up on a little bit of it. John's actually been reading the books.
Yeah.
And, he's excited about the books, and I'm like, where's the audio book?
Yeah. Well, maybe I could call you and just read it to you over the phone or something.
Oh, there you go. Or just read it just record it, read it to me and record it. There you go.
Yeah.
Then I'll listen to it as I drive.
It would be painful. We've talked about doing an in-house audiobook, and I think that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah, I've seen a couple come out, and they're usually like, but then there's Fiverr. Yeah, actually, there's guys on Fiverr that do decent audiobooks. They're looking to make a name for themselves.
That's not a bad idea. It's one of those things that I want to do audio right the first time, and it makes me nervous. As you can imagine, it's like you screw that up, and nobody will ever follow you again. And I'm a huge audiobook guy. I mean, I listen to audiobooks constantly. For years, decades actually, back in the old days, in the cassette tape of my car. Yeah. I mean, I would go to the library, check things out all the time. And when it went digital, that was like dream come true.
Yeah.
You can just download and tap and listen. Yeah, amazing.
Audible's a fiend now. They make all sorts of money off people.
Yeah.
But tell us about your book. The series. Yeah, the series. So I've called the series the Space Warfare Group, and there are now 3 books in the series. There's the first book that John had mentioned. There's also a novella that came out last year. That's a little smaller story, but exciting mission. And then the brand new second book, Shrouded in Darkness, which is the direct sequel, came out on Tuesday, and I'm really excited about that. I worked really hard over the last year getting that ready to send out. So pretty excited to have Shrouded in Darkness out, because there was Into the Darkness leaves I wouldn't call it a cliffhanger, but it is definitely an unresolved storyline as sort of the bigger conspiracy is revealed at the sort of near the end of the book. So, but the series follows a group of special forces soldiers in space, and the idea originally was what if Star Trek or something like that had a group of, like the Enterprise had a group of serious special forces operators, like Navy SEALs in space kind of thing. So
so the series zooms in on the soldiers, on the there's about 8 soldiers that are in the story that are sort of the main focus of the team, and they're mixed up in all kinds of missions and usual, black ops kind of stuff. But there's also a political element and a sort of a dark conspiracy in the background that moves the story forward. So that's kind of a quick rundown of it.
Yeah, I got a lot of elements from Richard Marcinko in the Special Forces, and that would be in space. I thought it was I like the main character. I like Major Malcolm, Mac. I think it's a very likable character, and the way you write it, it's very, very smooth and very, relatable to your audience. It's like, okay, I understand what I'm saying, what he's doing. They're jumping the ship, and it's very good. The only names I still can't pronounce Bloel Ufel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. You got that. Yeah. Sci-fi names. What a mess that can be. But it is fun trying to come up with names and keep them consistent within the different species of aliens, because there's you're constantly making up aliens, and they have to have names, and then their names have to be kind of relatable to their species, and it gets complicated. I didn't ever plan ahead for that.
General Skull was interesting. The bone rattlers. It was very good.
Yeah,
I liked it. I mean, it's a lot to keep up. Stories and the stories, but they're very relatable characters. The princess, and also as a soldier. I was in the military, but I can understand. He's seen a lot of action. He's trying to look out for his men, and then he gets a mission at first. I don't want to give it away, but then he has to deal with the politicians and the people that he can't trust anybody. It's very enjoyable.
I did want to have a character. So there's always the sort of plot-driven character or stories, and there's stories that are really focused on the action or the the military strategy, that sort of thing, and that's not really my thing. I don't even really enjoy reading that sort of book. But what I love are characters that you feel like are your friends, somebody that you care about and that you're invested in the character. So I wanted a few characters that you felt really invested in, and then a few characters that you hated, and make it that to where I, at least in my reading history, I pick up books about characters that I like, that there's high stakes and there's something that's challenging for them, and you want to see what happens, and that's really what kind of motivated me with these characters. And you live with them for a long time and try to make life miserable for them to entertain the readers.
see what they can get out of.
That'd
be very cool. Are there a lot of inspirations you get from history writing about your book? Like any characters? Does Mac is he based on anybody?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Mac is actually, he's always been Idris Elba, the actor, and I even hear him at the British accent, and I always loved Idris Elba, the actor, and he's very gentlemanly, very enjoyable, kind of a very pleasant guy, but he's also tough and Mr. Charismatic and stuff. So in my mind, he was always that character, but or that casted in my mind. But a lot of influences from military TV shows, movies, and military books. I'm a huge Tom Clancy fan. Most of my reading over the years have been like things like Vince Flynn, Brad Thor, Tom Clancy, Clive Cussler. Big adventure, men's adventure novels, political thrillers, military, that sort of stuff. So I always I love those kind of characters, and wanted to do that in space as sort of a far future space opera kind of thing. And so as an individual, he sort of formed Mac as the main character. Who Max's full name is Major Malcolm Lambert, and he was originally a side character in a political thriller novel I was writing years ago. And he was a part of a flashback for the main character that I had at the time. And it was a flashback of a military scene in Afghanistan. And for whatever reason, I just sort of picked up one day, frustrated with that story, and I picked up that character in that flashback scene and put it in space and started writing it. And it just unfolded from there. And I sort of accidentally wrote a full sci-fi, well, I don't even want to call it sci-fi, a sort of a space opera novel based on those characters. So originally he was just sort of a very charismatic leader who was in the background. And then when I came around and made him a main character, he just already had that sort of profile.
I got that when I was first when you were describing him, and he just popped right in my head. I'm like, oh man, that could be a good movie. He should make a movie of this. So
yeah,
it popped in my head. You know, you have the right hand man, Sanchez is right hand man, and it's a lot of politics too, and you know, not very friendly to the politicians. You can't trust them anyway. Space or on Earth.
That's it.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but I mean, there's a lot of modern day inspiration. You know, our what we see in the for anybody who doesn't know about the story, I've created this thing I call the United Planetary Government, which basically acts kind of like the UN, just a big organization over all of humanity. And then there's now a galactic kind of United Nations out there of all the different species. So you have multiple layers of political bureaucracy and all the usual political stuff that goes with it. And of course, anytime you have that kind of political structure, you absolutely have conspiracies and crooked people and people trying to profit off of other people in that way. Yeah. So it should feel pretty familiar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's one character, Mr. Arthur Rust. I put a couple politicians to him. Like, yep, okay, that figures.
Yeah. So somebody asked me before on another interview what character I love to hate, and I picked Arthur Rust for sure. Absolutely hate the guy. He's the worst character ever. But man, I love him at the same time because he's so terrible. And he has a major. He's got a big part in book 2, Shrouded in Darkness.
Oh, okay.
As you can imagine, at the end of book 1, some things are left sort of unresolved, and it picks up in book 2. And Arthur Rust is a major character in book 2.
Oh, all
right. Yeah. I planned. I guess a lot of thriller books and maybe even sci-fi books do like standalone stories that are like almost episodic, and you can jump in anywhere in the series. But mine is more like some of the fantasy novels are written, or like maybe even like the Thrawn series. That's Star Wars series where they just build on each other, and it's just one big long story arc. And so book 2 just rolls right out of book 1, and then book 3, which is I'm sort of plotting right now, is gonna pick up like 10 minutes after the end of book 2, and there's a lot of unresolved stuff there too. There's just too much. The galaxy's too big.
Then you have book 5, the prequel.
Yeah. So the prequel, what I did was it's a little guy. It's like 130 pages, and it's kind of like a movie where it's one sequence or one mission, and it features Mac and Sanchez in the 2 main characters, and then I introduce one major character in the novella called Cash Raider, and she's a woman who was a former soldier who got blown up in battle and was sort of put back together by a group of this species of cyborg people who nobody really likes them, but they gave her an opportunity to get back into the mission. And so she has like a, cybernetic arm and a big face implant, and she's sort of a hardcore character, military character, and she's operating as a almost more like a mercenary hired gun in the novella. And she gets caught up in something and needs help. And the closest help is Mac and Sanchez and a couple other guys. And they come down to help. And so it's like a really fast sort of almost more like a movie plot.
Awesome.
I don't know,
Yeah, and then those characters come back in book 2. And so it was intentional to introduce Cash Raider, who would be in book 2, and some other characters as well.
I don't know who did the covers, but those are amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. So a friend of mine, his name is Jacob Connell. He's got a company called Flipsider Productions, and he made those covers. They are world class. I just can't say enough about him. But he also made some trailers that are on my website that are.
What's the is there any? I didn't get a chance to preview audio on it, so is there?
Yeah, it has some music.
Is it copyrighted?
No, everything is is free.
Oh, let's check it out then. We can do this.
Okay. Oh,
I think the audio might play. I have to. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't set up my. Hang on. Routing system broadcast. Now it should work.
So impressed.
Yeah, I like how they did the ships in the back up.
Coming through?
Yep.
That is an awesome
Wow.
trailer. They did a really good job at that.
Yeah, he made one for book 1 as well.
Let's see if I can find that one.
Yeah, if
Do you do a lot of research in your books, like military operations, or how they would?
Yeah. Yeah, I do a lot of research on military stuff because I wasn't in the military, but I don't do any science research, which shows in the book. There's no science.
Where would I find the other one?
Click on the Into the Darkness cover.
Okay. There we go.
Yep, there it is.
Stand by.
Yeah, I didn't see the second one. I saw this one.
Okay. This was the first one I made.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
Man, it makes me want to read those books.
It does. I love the way they captured, how I came through that door with my MP5.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm glad you were able to model that for us.
Yeah, how can I say? Yeah.
Yeah, and since Jacob, the designer of those, he's a close friend of mine. And the guy, he's a young guy. He's in his 20s, super talented on all things sort of production, video, all that. But we get to sit and talk about the story, you know, forever. And then he just like hides in a cave somewhere and pulls all this stuff together. And it's genius. I absolutely love it. I mean, I hope for him that other authors would be willing to give him a shot for some trailers.
Oh yeah, I think especially the covers. The covers alone, even if they don't want to do a trailer, the covers alone, that should sell. You know, a lot of people are looking for, a lot of writers and everything out there that have covers. They don't have books, but they don't have covers. So
yeah. And I was targeting the, you know, if you're familiar with guys like the Galaxy's Edge books, the J.N. Chaney books, you know, some of these that are really high on the Amazon top 100 for sci-fi books. Dalzell,
Joshua Dalzell, Richard Fox.
Yeah, all those guys. And I, you know, we studied their covers and we looked at everything they were doing, and what we ended up with was something between the military thriller market that you would see like with some of these guys like Jack Carr, if you've heard of him. He's a former Navy SEAL that writes some amazing he's the guy who wrote Terminal List, if you saw that on Amazon. It's, you know, somewhere between, like triangulating between the sci-fi market and the military thriller market. And yeah, he crushed it. He did such a good job. I'm very thankful for it.
I like it.
And it kind of tells the story. Like even in the, when looking at the covers, you can actually judge a book by the cover because it kind of tells the story. Actually, we have a lot of creative control as independent authors.
Did you have, so you designed it, or your friend designed the cover? The first one, Into Darkness?
Yeah. So we talked, you know, just kind of came up with some concepts, and I showed him a bunch of the competition of who I was targeting, the readership. And then he designed it and pulled all the different pieces together to create that cover. And then we've done, you know, we've got business cards. You can see a poster behind my shoulder over here, and you know, we're using the cover on everything as well because it's just really eye-catching. Looks great on Amazon too when you scroll through. Pops right off the page. Yeah,
pops on it.
Now you're a unique author. For your background, can you tell us how you ended up with the background you have? So we're talking engineering.
Yeah.
And we're also talking a pastor. So
yeah.
And now you write and you also write sci-fi. So
yeah.
You're a unicorn.
Yeah. I'm a woodworker. You know, it's funny, but you're right. It's crazy. So my dad was an engineer, not a graduate professional engineer. He was a sort of on the job guy, learned from my grandpa. I'm actually the 5th generation of engineer, which is amazing. And so when I was growing up, my dad was like very serious about get your degree, get your license, all that stuff. So I did. I got a BS in electrical engineering. I got a professional engineering license in multiple states and worked for 23 years as an engineer. Kind of in the architecture world. And we did a bunch of military projects and airports and things, kind of high profile stuff. But in college, I became a Christian, and as a believer, it just started, I don't know, my life started changing for sure. And at one point, over time, I started feeling a call to ministry. And eventually I went to seminary. So I have a master's degree in systematic theology on top of my engineering bachelor's, which is a strange combination. And then eventually I started working part-time as an engineer, part-time as a pastor, and eventually retired from engineering and went full-time in ministry. So my day job is meeting with people, counseling, doing weddings, teaching theology classes, preaching sermons. Like this Sunday, I'm preaching the sermon. and working on. So I was like hammering away on the sermon all week this week while trying to juggle marketing a book release, which was
oh my gosh,
interesting. Yeah,
does any of that bleed over into the books?
Yeah, so you don't see any overt like Christian language or biblical kind of stuff. There's no faith talk in it, but what you see are principles that I would say are core to who I am. The main characters care for his people. Just the overall picture of good versus evil that you see. My characters are very, very black and white. I do have some gray characters, but mostly it's black and white. It's good or it's evil, and I think you see it there in essence. But I didn't see how writing a far future space novel and biblical Christian faith would intersect in a way that wouldn't turn me into a heretic pretty quickly. So I had to
stoning him out in the
so
front.
Yeah, exactly. I serve with two other pastors, guys that are just dear friends of mine, and we do ministry together. I just love them to death, and I talk to them about it quite a bit too, because it is a little different. Like, far future space stuff doesn't necessarily correlate with the Bible, but it's just entertainment is what it is, and it's fun, and it's clean. So as I mentioned to you guys earlier, one of the things I wanted to do as a reader myself is there are certain things that I just wish weren't in books. Like, I prefer sort of a PG-13 book. I want the excitement, I want the action, I want the story, I want the drama, but I could do without some of the other stuff. And I wanted to provide books like that for that everybody would enjoy, even teenagers. And I've got a number of young people who read them that really enjoy them, and they're clean in that regard, other than the violence. I mean, there is some violence, but and I'll warn them ahead of time, like, this is violence. So that was one of my goals, was to have a book that really had all those elements, but was sort of PG-13, and I think we've accomplished that.
You sound like Battlestar Galactica, 1978.
Yeah. Those are, exactly, Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, all that kind of old stuff that did have a family. It's like, hey, we can do this with the family. It's not
right. It was a prime time,
thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, It's and that was important to me as an author, as a person. It's important to me, and I really inspired by guys like Clive Cussler, who was fairly clean in his writing. Lee Child, fairly clean in his writing as well. And when I say clean, I mean, it's PG-13. It's not G-rated, but it's certainly more a wider audience. But I'll not probably, but I've already started working on a series that is more overtly Christian. That'll be marketed as Christian fiction, sort of a thriller, mystery thriller. That'll be under the same name. But it'll be a totally different thing, and I'll market it that way. And because that's a hungry market right now for books, very hungry. And there are tons of readers, and they want good quality stories, and that aren't Amish love stories, right? Which is kind of the big thing right now.
No, it's good. I test the books on myself. I read them first, and this book is one of the few authors I gave to my son to read, and it's perfectly fine. He's like, okay, and it's really cool to pass on a book to him and see him read it. Sometimes I grab a book before I get it, but it's I kind of enjoy. Okay, read this. Why do you like this? And he reads it. So, we talk about it. It's pretty cool. There's no language. Nothing that's gonna like, you can't read that. But this is right up there.
Unless you have a problem with like cutting aliens' heads off or something, that does happen. But
not him.
Yeah. Right. If they
not.
Yeah.
As long as they're not annihilating Cylons, I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, well, as a good example, I watch with my kids. Well, my kids are basically adults now, but we love Clone Wars, the cartoon series.
Yeah.
And one of the things we joke about in the Clone Wars all the time is that it's a kids show. They'll like slice heads off somebody and smash something, and we'll look at each other and say it's a kids show.
So what else are you a fan of it? Sci-fi? What kind of things drive?
Yeah.
So you've got the sci-fi bug where you're writing it. What kind of things did you grow up with? What's your fandom?
Yeah, I love that. So I'm a kid from the 70s. I grew up in the 80s, right? So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, just top to bottom. Love Star Wars. Grew up on Star Trek Next Generation era. Not much of a
TNG.
Not much of a Kirk era guy, but loved the Next Generation. I mean, it was very influential on me with the just the amount of story and how long they went and the way they handled things. I love it. Things like the Picard episodes with the Borg are just primo. Huge X-Files fan.
Oh.
That was a big one for me. So I like a little creepy conspiracy. I love on the book side, it was Dean Koontz, Tom Clancy, kind of a weird mix, and then some fantasy like a Robert Jordan kind of fantasy, but not a lot of sci-fi books actually. I did read Arthur C. Clarke, a number of Star Wars novels and stuff, but not a big sci-fi reader. But sci-fi movies all day long. We watch them all. Loved Alien, Predator, Terminator, all that kind of stuff is kind of all tucked in there as influence. And then more recently, love all the Mandalorian stuff, all the stuff Star Wars is doing right now. Love that. The new Star Trek movies. I don't know if this is allowed or not, but I love the new Star Trek movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's acceptable or not anymore. My younger brother, hates them.
Oh no.
He likes the old school stuff and hates the new stuff. So.
Yeah, it's certain series. What depends on the series you watch. There's arguments in my household too about him. So like,
yeah. With Star Trek Next Generation, it was kind of funny. Where I grew up out in the country, we didn't have TV signal. We only had like one channel.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't get the Star Trek channel. But my
Wyoming.
dad. So you get it. So my dad, working at the engineering office, when I was growing up, he had a business partner, who recorded every single Next Generation episode on VHS and built a library at the office that people would check out the tapes. So my dad would bring home the Next Generation tapes, and we would watch them on VHS at home, and repeatedly, because we didn't have any channels. I saw the movies we owned on VHS, the Star Trek's, Terminator, or Star Wars, Terminator, Indiana Jones, that stuff. You watch them 100 times because we had nothing else to watch back then.
You had Blockbuster back then. That's what we had.
Yeah, love some Blockbuster.
Hi, Pete.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I jumped on while I was actually watching from one of my other feeds at work, and fascinating. I got to see the commercials, the book commercials, and it was where's the movie for that?
Yeah.
Or where's the audio book? I want to get it.
Don't stab him too much. I already got him on the audio book. So
of course you did.
I'm dying.
You stabbed him in the neck. I know.
He's back there going,
life. Yeah.
It looks great. It looks fantastic. And
thank you.
I guess before anything closes or moves on, I guess don't forget to say a prayer for us when you get a chance, so that we can continue to expand our reach and help promote your work as well. We are super fans of military sci-fi, since we happen to be fans of Galactica. Oh, absolutely.
I'm constantly doing military sci-fi stuff. I'm a big fan of Fox and Morin, and I've got my audiobook library is just overflowing.
Yeah.
Which is funny that you mentioned
e-books.
Mine was I mentioned that era with the Star Trek. I'm in the process of listening to was it Janeway's autobiography of Janeway. So for Voyager. So Voyager was about like that. They had that crossover that time frame. So
yeah,
so,
yeah, totally.
Do you when you sit down to write, are you seat of the pants, or do you go and write down you use a specific method? Do you use a book? Save the cat or whatever it may be nowadays. What do you use to get your thoughts down on paper? Is it like just something that hits you and you're like, oh, I got to write that down, or how does it?
I love that.
It work?
Yeah, so I'm not a plotter. I do want to have a point to the story, and I want an ending to the story. But often it's sort of like a vision of something. Like I can see maybe the last scene, and I want to kind of get there, and that's about as much as I get. And so I will kind of. It's I don't remember the author. You guys might know his
story.
Yeah, a little bit of reverse engineering. Called Riding into the Dark was a book, and I haven't read it, but I've heard interviews about it by one of the sort of fantasy sci-fi writers, and the idea is you're just kind of riding into this fog. You don't even know where you're going, and I do a little bit of that. So I'll have an idea of where I'm going next. So I'll have some visions of some scenes, and I know some big things that have to happen, but otherwise it's pretty much pantsing. And I'll write, yeah, it can be pretty.
That's talent.
Scary.
Yeah, but if you can do it by the seat of your pants, it's just raw talent.
Yeah. Well, and what happens is the story takes over and the characters take over, and I'm sure you've heard this from other authors before. It sounds kind of crazy saying it, but they really do take on a life of their own, where I'm surprised, I laugh, I get scared, and you're like so in the zone. When I'll write in the morning from like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day, and I just like zone out. I get the hard instrumental music going, like some of the electronic music, and just get lost in the story. And there you get into the zone, and it just goes, and it takes on a life of its own. It's better than reading, I will say. I would rather do that now than actually read a book or watch a movie, because it's even more exciting, and you kind of chase that excitement, which is a lot of fun. So I use a program called Scrivener, which is a novel writing program, and it's super helpful, where it has all the chapters on one side, and you can jump back and forth between the chapters very quickly. And then it has you can cast your characters, and each character has a little like card, and you can put their info in and pictures. So I'll cast every major character with actors and actresses. I'll have artwork. I'll steal artwork off the internet to inspiration for aliens. Yep. And ships and everything, and I'll just pile all that stuff into the program. And it even has a little sidebar window where you can drop photos and little bullet points, and I'll literally use those inspiration photos for like a hangar in a spaceship. One of the main settings of the book is the Navy battle cruiser McDaniels, which is something between a cross between the Enterprise and like the big Empire ships in Star Wars. And
destroyer.
It's kind of destroyer kind of thing. It's kind of like a giant aircraft carrier, and it's got hangars for the special forces guys, and so I'll find pictures for inspiration, and that really helps to get the mind and the words put together. But yeah, that's kind of my process. I'll do like right now because the story is much bigger now, and there's more stakes because I've written myself into a corner with the story. I now have to do more plotting. So I'm really trying to get book 3 right, because book 2 puts us into a really exciting situation for book 4 or book 3, 4, whatever comes after that, and I want to get those right. So I'm doing a little more plotting now.
How many books do you think you got in the series?
I could see 4 or 5 for sure, with several of these smaller novellas as like filler that people can read on their phones or read quickly. I would love to have like 10 in the series total with the novellas. And then after that, I mean, it might become more episodic and less multi-book story arc kind of thing over time. I'm not sure, because I don't really know what I'm doing.
It's funny. We have an author on, Eric Padden. He's like, he says, I relate to that formula for writing completely. A general end idea helps, but the journey getting there can take as many twists and turns as you write that, and you don't anticipate when you start to write. So things just change as you start to write. So, oh, wouldn't that be great?
That's awesome. And I'll tell you what, too, what I love to do actually is talk with my wife and my kids, because, and I actually have 2 friends also who are really good about, they'll read the book ahead of time, like before I publish, and they provide some really interesting ideas and brainstorm. And I'll try to talk to my wife about it, and she'll say, well, don't ruin the story for me. I want to be surprised. And I'll tell her, but I need to figure this out. And so she'll sit and chat with me, and we'll figure out some of the scenes and the essential story elements that really has made a big difference in writing. I don't know that you can write, totally solo. I think other people's ideas really open the door to bigger, more exciting stuff. One of my friends actually, before I published book 1, we were having lunch, and he had read it, and he had some really great commentary and criticism and stuff. And man, just at that lunch talking, he gave me our ideas came about. I don't remember who came up with it, but story ideas came out that resulted in book 2. That was super exciting for me. So I make a habit of that now, of chatting with others and brainstorming over the ideas.
It's interesting that you said that characters take a life of their own. Did you ever catch yourself writing a scenario and then saying, oh, wait, what am I doing? Mac would never do this. Let's go back to the drawing board.
Absolutely. And other people will even say that in the early reading. They'll be like, no, you made DJ sound too much like Mac, or Mac would never do that. In fact, that reminds me, there was a part of book 1 where Mac interrogates one of the politicians near the end of the book. And you'll probably remember that, John, on Mac and Sanchez when they're with Lou. And he interrogates this guy. And it was very violent, and it was very aggressive. And Mac was like losing his mind. And my wife read that and said, no, that's not Mac. And which was hilarious, because she was already invested in this character before it was even published. And so we went back and I rewrote that chapter to be more in line with that character. And she was right. It was absolutely right. And so that's key. And the same thing in book 2, where I was writing on the first chapter with Arthur Rust, he's a jerk. He just insults everybody. He's got a really bad attitude. And
the guy you love to hate.
The guy you love to hate. He's so mean and just sarcastic and rude. And the first chapter.
Uh-oh. Yep.
There we go. Excellent.
We went over.
So like it or not. Okay.
Give us 1 second. So hopefully we lose.
No, I'm here. I think, okay. John, are you there?
Okay.
John's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Charles, you there?
So give us,
right, cool.
Yep, our other guest is jumping in on us. So thanks for coming on, and we really appreciate. Okay.
All right. I think that, Charles, if you're listening, we just want to thank you so much for taking the time out and and giving us your insight on your style, your writing, your books. We're fans. John, thanks for setting that up. John, we'd like to have you back so we could finish our conversation. We apologize for not having another line. I guess we crossed the lines here,
Yep.
so unfortunately, but definitely have you come back, Charles. Thank you very, very much, and we wanna have you back around the time when you're ready to put out
next
the other
one.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please come back.
As soon as you put on an audiobook, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. All right, there's the last stab. Yeah, there you go. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Hey, thank you guys. You guys are great. Love it. Thanks so much. Look forward to chatting again sometime.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Charles.
All right, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye.
All right. Wow. Okay. So, hey, everybody. I apologize for not making it on time, but I think everything was in good hands. John, of course, taking care of business as usual.
Oh.
Chris, you had your hands full, I'm sure. John,
Yep,
thanks for
hands
everything
full
you
of,
do, man.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, 1040 or
I
whatever
enjoyed
that.
it. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Oh, John has his thing tonight too.
I'm a
So
little excited. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
he drank a cider in your honor, sir.
Excellent. Well, here's to everybody out there. Thanks, guys.
So, John, while we're waiting for everything to work out on the other end, and I do see our another guest, so give me a second, sir. We will get you on. You want to go ahead and do your news report there, sir?
Sure. I got a little thing I put together. I cut it short.
Perfect.
I did 2 guests, so
I gotta find
sure
it.
it's good.
Where did it go?
Yo, John's got a nice setup, and you're covering. Yeah. Oh boy, nice, excellent.
I found it.
All right, you got it. Okay, cool. All yours, John.
All right, we got some movies coming this summertime. You know, Flash is out. Hasn't been doing very good, but you go see it.
Shocker.
Enjoy it. Tomorrow. No, DC is really on the can, but hopefully, Mr. Gunn pick it up. And tomorrow is Indiana Jones, everybody. So go see that.
Heck yeah.
I gotta sneak out because the wife and kids are home. I gotta sneak out by myself. My popcorn.
You're lucky they're not gonna watch this, so you'd be in big trouble.
Right, I know. Well, one's looking at me right now, the smart one.
Secret's out.
We have Mission Impossible is out again. Mission Impossible #5 or whatever with Tom Cruise is coming out July 14th. It's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I guess it's going to be a part 2. There's going to be more action where he's going to run around and try to save the world from being blown up or save his girlfriend. I don't know.
That sounds just like the other ones. Yeah.
Yep, all 3 of them. Except for Mission Impossible 3 was pretty good with the guy that was that guy Hoffman was a bad guy. That was good. That was a good one. I think that was the best one.
Yeah. It's hard to say. It's hard to say that number 3 is best. Usually number 1's the best one. So that's a good thing.
Number one was.
Yeah. Who's fast?
Unfortunately.
Mission Impossible, and what else is coming out? And that's coming out the 14th of July. What else is coming out? Foundation Season 2 is coming out on July 14th on
Oh
Apple.
my gosh.
I really
Apple
haven't
TV
seen this
again.
one.
You guys are going to kill me.
Apple's coming out with some really good series, but Foundation, I know it's based on the books, but I haven't seen it. If anyone's seen it, let me know. I'll have to get Apple then and watch it. But it looks pretty good. The End of the Empire, so that's coming out the 14th. And my favorite show on FX is coming out this summer. What We Do in the Shadows. If you haven't watched it, it's hilarious. You guys got to watch that show. That's coming out on July 13th, I think. July 13th is coming out on FX. The guy becomes a vampire, and they try to teach him how to be a vampire. It's pretty funny.
Sounds like Bill the Vampire. If you haven't read that book, that's amazing.
And there's other ones. That's coming out. So I haven't watched Blue Roast. Is that a series or is this a book?
It's a audio. I listen to the audiobooks. It's Galleri, funny as can be. Really good book.
Wow.
If you like What We Do in the Shadows, you'll love that book.
And what's it called again?
Rick Galleri. It's Bill the Vampire.
My
That's
reading list.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a number of series, but it's like he's an unintentional vampire, and he doesn't expect to become one, and he gets lured into it, and yeah, it's great. Sorry, squirreled on you.
No. I was just thinking, like, all the scenes. Oh, how do I suck blood? How do I survive?
Yeah.
Let me try it this way. So it's probably this clarity. And new Futurama is coming out.
Really?
Season 11. Yep.
Cool.
July 24th on Hulu. A new season of Futurama. The original cast members have come back, and hopefully it'll be funny. A couple years ago, it was the big difference between the timelines. Like, it was funny back then. Hopefully, because of politics and everything else, it's funny now. But
yeah,
I learned that with Clone High. Don't watch Clone High the second season. Not funny. It's not funny without Gandhi. So, we have a couple of Comic-Cons coming. Hershey Comic-Con, July 11th. July 9th, EternalCon at Hofstra University in Long Island. And July 8th is also New Jersey Edison Con. So, that's what we have so far. And I cut my report short, so we have 2 guests. And that's it.
You forgot this.
Oh, and Firefly. Yeah, new comic on Firefly. It's a new season. It's Firefly. What's it? What do they call that game?
Watch How I Soar or something like that.
Yeah, Watch How I Soar.
Watch How I Soar. That's coming out. It's coming out in when's it coming out?
Yep, I already reached out to my comic book shop. I already have all of the other Fireflies from Boom.
This is the first season 1, so it's coming out in September? Or it's coming out in August?
Probably September is usually when they roll it.
September 6th is the release date.
Yep.
So, go to your comic guys, release it. This is the new series of Firefly. Hopefully, we'll see more.
Yeah, if you haven't read the other ones, they're great. So I'm a big Firefly. I've got all the comic books from Firefly, and I will be. I already contacted my comic shop for this one. So,
believe it or not, I've got to start watching Firefly.
The books are good too. If Mediocre Modeler's on, you'll tell you the audio books.
The comics, but
the audio books are fantastic. They feel just like the original cast. It's great.
Well, that's good. And the original cast is in the comic too.
The original cast is not in the audio book, but you feel when they're talking or when they're doing. You can feel the character. Sometimes it's hard to. You don't really get that a lot in some audio books, but that one's a good one.
Hopefully, make a series.
Very cool. Very cool.
All
right. Well, thanks, John. As usual, outstanding, above and beyond. Looking forward to. Hey, when's Doctor Who convention?
That's coming in August. I just talked to them August 16th. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
all right.
They haven't reached out yet, but that's the dates that they've given. So hopefully we'll hear from them soon. We get a booth in that.
Yes, that's right. And because then we got Dragon Con. That's on
September,
our radar.
Labor Day.
Yep. You'll be there. We're going to be there. IFB will be represented. I know a lot of everyone that's on now is going to meet up with us there. We're going to have a really good time. And yeah, there's we did put up the update. Trey was just mentioned the update on Jack Stauffer. We put the update up, and so he's doing better. Hope everybody saw that.
Still needs some help in regards to some funding. So
yeah. So if anybody's,
I think we lost Peter, by the way.
We did. All right. So Pete, please come back. Mr. Hirschberg, please recalibrate your systems and come right back. So that's our next guest that John, of course, was able to get for us. He did Perseverance. Peter Hirschberg did Perseverance, fan film, Battlestar Galactica, CG based. It is fantastic. Most of you already have seen it. You know that it's out there. It's fantastic. So he's here. He's going to be our guest in a couple. Oh, good. Couple of seconds to be on, and we'll discuss that because I know he's a big fan. I've even seen some pictures of him with Cylons. So
because they're the best.
Cool. All right, calm down. Yeah, Dorian just popped on.
Hail the Cylon Empire.
Hail Cylon Empire. Yes, exactly.
And not to mention the Klingon Empire.
I have to apologize. I'm sorry. I straight up blew up your live stream. And I'm so sorry.
This is live, so we're Semper Gumby.
I apologize to Charles and to all you guys, but thank you for having me.
Yeah, Semper Gumby. We're always
welcome to Interfleet Broadcasting, Pete. We we're happy to have you. I'm glad that John was able to get you, nail you down. I'd been anxious to have you on our show for a long, long time. From the first time I saw your teaser, possibly even before, I saw some work that you had put out, and we were always talking about trying to get you on IFB. So thank you for taking the time out and coming on.
My pleasure.
I know you're a big Galactica fan, just like us. So it's really cool. We've been talking about your perseverance now for a while. So welcome to IFB.
Yeah, thank you. It was a long time to make that, so it feels like it's been in my head for a long time too. I got the idea, I think it was last August. It's almost a year. What happened was I downloaded a printable Galactica file, and I rendered it out in Maya, and I'm like, that looks really cool. And I posted it on one of the Galactica groups. I think it was the original Galactica models group. And I said, isn't this cool? Somebody just look at all the detail. And I was just really effusive about how cool this model looked, that somebody took the time to build all those details. And I got some flack from somebody, and I will not name names.
That sucks.
That was, saying, no, you should, this is all the surface detail is wrong. I'm like, yeah, but somebody made this by hand, and you have to appreciate that. And
yes, of course.
I said, find a more realistic Galactica model and I'll render it. Because that was at the time the most realistic one I had found. I forget who made the original printable one. Anyway, we got into a little fight. And you can find it there. I ended up blocking him, and I think he went off on a horrendous tirade, I've been told, against me. But that sort of set in motion like this resolve I had to like, okay, well, I actually did find a better Galactica, the one by Juvenile, and I was rendering that, and I was like, well, what if I did like a camera pass to get kind of the detail and stuff. And so it started with that, and I was renting, and I was having a lot of problems. And my friend Paul Good, who's always been my Maya sort of Obi-Wan, helped me out, got it rendering way faster. I ended up upgrading my machine finally because it was like a little Best Buy computer I was using, and it just wasn't having any of the vision I was picturing. But yeah, when I started seeing some of the frames come through and the Galactica coming towards the camera, I immediately thought, I've got a Viper and a Raider and a base ship that I've modeled already. Why don't I throw these things all together? And I had all these cool ideas just sort of pop into my head about what if you could see this, and what if the ships were flying over something really bright and you could see the rays of light coming back. And I sort of visualized almost every shot in that version 1 at that like first envisioning I had of the movie. It was pretty cool. And then I didn't know how to do any of that stuff, of course, at the time. I knew how to render some simple animations, but I didn't know how to do, fluid simulations or particles or, so that was all stuff that I just decided I was going to learn how to do, darn it, so that I could get these shots done. That's my portfolio.
Wow.
Those were the models I did probably 7 or 8 years ago. That's just a Photoshop image. I rendered them, but then I Photoshopped the exhaust and the star. But yeah, so I was big into modeling like the hot rod cars and stuff. And I went to Galacticon in 2013. I think it was Galacticon 3 in Texas. And I immediately came back and started modeling this ship right here.
Wow.
It just inspired me. I was at Galacticon and meeting all the stars that, this was the first and only galactic convention I'd ever been to. And I was like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to model a Viper.
Wow.
And this is what I actually used in the movie.
That's
and
cool.
So, well, thank you. Thank you so much. It's so weird that people, I totally expected after that exchange on the Facebook group, I was super shy when I introduced version 1 of Perseverance, and I thought I was going to get just blasted off the internet. And instead, I got such a warm reception. I mean, it was heartfelt, and people were saying that moved them to tears when they watched some of the scenes in Perseverance.
Oh yeah.
And I was just,
oh yeah.
It's still weird to me that people liked what I did, because I did my own thing. And an interesting fact is, of course I'm a huge Galactica fan, but I haven't watched the series in maybe a year or two, probably since a little before COVID. And so I did all that stuff from memory.
Wow.
Matching the fan service shots is what I call them. Like, like the shots that are similar to ones from the show. I did all that just based on my recollection of how the show went.
Wow, that's cool.
And I kept saying, like, I gotta sit down and watch the show, at least the pilot, but you can ask my wife. I was literally rendering, like, I had one machine I was animating scenes on, and the other one was just rendering for, I took it out of the box, stuck it on the floor. It was an Alienware, really nice, expensive thing. And it rendered for months and months and months and months, nonstop. I just kept feeding it frames. And if it wasn't rendering, I was freaking out, because I was like, this is lost time. This is pushing back the date where I can release this thing. So I did release it as a version 1 originally, because there were things that I just didn't want to wait. Like, it had been 5 months and I hadn't released anything. I wanted to put it out there. Like, it was sort of a complete thought, but there were more things I wanted to do. So I said, I'll release it as a version 1. And, with the caveat, obviously there'll be another version that has more stuff in it. That's another ship that I love all the ships from that era. It was such a great era to be a sci-fi fan.
Oh yeah. We love it. We love Buck Rogers too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is incredible. So you did this as part of your love for the shows, and you just started dabbling with this stuff? This is something that you don't have any formalized training. You just decided to teach yourself this? How does this happen?
Uh-oh.
Oh, did we lose Pete?
Oh, there he is.
Pete, come back to us. There you go.
All right, sorry, my computer blue screened, so I'm on my phone.
So Pete,
it was rendering something, probably.
It was yes, it was definitely rendering. There we go. Yeah, Pete. So we were in the middle of getting into, how did you just taught yourself how to render all these things because you enjoyed the show that much, or do you have a professional background in this?
No, not professional at all. I'm actually a programmer. Originally I couldn't decide if I wanted to get into software or hardware, so I actually got into hardware first. I did electronics, and then when electronics started becoming disposable, I got into software. Even though I was doing basic, like in the 70s on my Atari, but
oh yeah, of course.
I'm dating myself, but who isn't dating themselves by liking the original Battlestar Galactica? But this was something, like, I remember there was a little program by Tom Hudson, it was called Solid States, and it was for the Atari, and you could enter using graph paper, like, all these coordinates, and it would render a wireframe of like a spaceship or whatever you'd entered. And I was so taken with that, and I thought that was the coolest. If I could have one piece of software for my computer, that would have been it. And I just would sit there in school and draw out, like, TIE fighters and Vipers and stuff on graph paper, and I'd get home and enter all the data. And over the years, I got into, True Space was a 3D software off the shelf that I was using for a long time. Taught myself how to do that, and then got into Maya. And like I said, this friend of mine, Paul Good, he's always been sort of my Maya Obi-Wan. And he's always been like this guiding force, like, Peter, no, you're doing this wrong. I can show you how to make this so much easier on yourself. So he's in the credits as a big thank you, as well as a couple others. Go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
Okay, Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were talking to
I
me.
thought you said no. I thought you were saying wait or
We're
something.
getting we're getting some feedback, I think. But no, Pete. So just keep telling us, like, how do you go from, like this passion to then putting together that fan film that you made was incredible. So I mean, you're rendering, you're teaching yourself how to do this. You love the show like we do, and now you decide you're going to go all in. How do you jump into that?
Well, that's why I called it perseverance, because and well, two reasons. One, because if I first thought, like, a reasonable person would quit after, because
Yeah.
I hit so many obstacles and things that were just like telling me, no, this is not going to work out. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do this. And partly because of that fight, I guess, that I had on Facebook, but also because I'm very stubborn. And when I meet resistance, instead of quitting, it hardens my resolve. So I called it perseverance also because I thought that would be a good name for a Battlestar Galactica spinoff. The perseverance of the human race over the Cylons. But
Boo.
I
Cylons
just
rule.
kept, I just, I just kept pushing myself, and I, like, I had a bunch of people helping me, like, that I would bounce ideas off of, really nice people. That some of these people were people that came to my defense in that thread. Some of them were people who responded really positively to version 1. And I just sort of befriended this little cabal of people that I would do a scene the way I'd want, and I'd put it out there, and I would get feedback on it or just a thumbs up, but sometimes I would change directions on it or just throw the scene out. There's so many scenes I did where I didn't even use them, and I spent so much time on them because they just didn't fit, or they just didn't have the right look to them, or they didn't come out the way I thought. But mostly, I was getting people saying, well, where's your storyboards? Where's the script? Where are you going with this? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just making a bunch of cool shots that I think would be neat to see as an audience, like shots that I would like to have seen back in the day. Wouldn't it be cool if the Viper flew over the camera, that kind of thing. And then editing them together, and then every now and then I would say, well, okay, these two pieces fit together if I just add like a little glue scene, as I call them, for continuity. So it was mostly just like Charles, the previous guest, was saying, it's a lot of pantsing. In fact, it was all pantsing. I had no storyboards or of any sort, and would just I had a notepad file where if I had an idea for a new shot, I would write it down in like vague terms, and that was about it.
Well, that says a lot, though. I mean, I truly hope that you're as proud as we are pleased to see your final, or at least this evolution of perseverance. Because every time we watch it, I remember I watched it. Right now, it's probably the first run that you did. I watched that several times, and then I've watched Perseverance no less than 4 or 5 times. So, and every time you watch it, it's like, wow, that's freaking cool. It is just really
Thank
cool.
you so much.
So,
and that's
I really
kind of what I was
you're proud
going
of it,
for.
Good, because it's really it is worthy. It is worthy.
I just wanted it to be. I mean, the way I just first described it when I first released it was like, imagine you're 12 and you have a bunch of Battlestar Galactica toys, and you can do anything you want with them, but in this case, they're all digital. And that's basically where I was coming from with this, is I had a bunch of digital toys. I had all the major ships, and a few I made myself. I put the Land Ram in there as that was fun. I got the little Eagle Moss one, and I'm like, I'm going to put this in there somewhere.
Oh, love the Land Ram. Gotta love it.
So
and here
yeah,
it is. Here is Perseverance. We're
I had turned the audio off because I can't remember what the music was.
It's the original
from the show. Yeah. Oh, we can't
So-
do that. So we'll get
Yeah, you can't.
we'll get it'll cank us.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get canked.
This is great. This is just great stuff. For those of you that haven't watched it, take a look at this. One of the comments we just got, Pete, was as I was watching this, I kept thinking that it was going to cut away to actors, that it was like, going to be like like a real episode. That's how impressed they were. They were like, just where, oh my God, this is great. It is.
Yeah,
it's
I've actually had some negative comments about that where I've had people just dismiss it as like, well, this is not a film. There's no actors. And I'm like, no, there's actors, there's characters. They're just the ships.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then for version 2, I did put 1 or 2 characters in there. But I wanted this to be about the beauty of the design of the ships and the beauty of the shots and how they can just move you just watching them. They're, and I think in the original show, there was budget, there was limitations with the technology. I didn't have to have any of that. I could do pretty much anything I wanted. And so that was kind of what I was going for, is to just try and like...
The lighting there is just amazing.
Thank you. I was just trying to like celebrate the beauty of these ships and the plight of these people. And I didn't feel like... I felt like as soon as I cut to a human, it would take a different tone.
Right.
And it wasn't a tone that I was ready to do or had the budget to do. Like as soon as you want to put actors in there, you got to get green screens, you got to get stages and sets.
Trust me, we know that one.
Oh yeah, we're very familiar with that.
There you go. So like I'm not ready financially. I mean, I couldn't even. There's supposed to be radio chatter in the battle scenes, and I was going to hire a voice actor, and I ran out of money. So that's my next thing after I finish. So I'm currently modeling the Galactica from scratch, my own. I want to get away from using the one I'm using, as fantastic as it is, but I want to use my own. Okay. So I've been working on that for about 2 months, and I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to take me a year to do the whole Galactica.
Oof,
and I'm getting so much gracious help from people in the modeling community who are sending me pictures of every little greeble on there.
That's good.
Oh, look at that. That's cool. That's awesome. Very, very cool stuff. Oh, well, you're adding to the fandom, and you're keeping the faith and stuff that's being created like this, right? You're a vision. You have a vision. You're a visionary, and you're an inspiration.
Thank you. That's very flattering.
You took the criticism, right? But it's truth, and it should be said, and it should be put out there. You took the criticism, and instead of folding, you decided to one-up it. So the critics are there's plenty of critics, and everybody has an opinion, and yet you stepped back and then said, this is something that I'm doing, whether you like it or not. I hope that most people enjoy it, and we do. And everybody's going to critique. When we complete the Stranded Warriors, you well know, Pete, that's the project that we're working on, and we're getting closer and closer to having it now edited as we finish the labeling and breaking down of the scenes and shots and all the green screen stuff. I'm sure that, Pete, we're going to take critique too. We're going to get some of that as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
But my response to that, and this is not on your behalf, it's just my opinion. It's, well, that's fine, and we're putting it out there, and obviously people are going to agree and disagree. I challenge those that have issues with our work, Pete, collectively, to go and do other stuff. Go make something of your own and put it out there and add to this collective that we're doing, right? Add to this, world that we love so much. I mean, look at this work that you put in. It's phenomenal. Look at this. When did we ever get to see Vipers lit up like that in their landing bays? It is just, incredible. We never saw this in the original, and you're doing this stuff, and it's just incredible. What a feat. This is what, everybody else, Pete, so whether it's Star Trek or Star Wars or even Firefly fans, Farscape fans, all different kind of fans. Look at that shot. They make fan films, and there's plenty of them, and there's a lot of great ones out there. You've stepped up and you've made one for Battlestar Galactica, and it's a current one, and it looks great. There's nothing cheesy about it, right? It's just incredible. Look at this. This is fantastic. So, hey guys, yes, you have an opinion, and everybody, can critique, because that's what this is all about, is taking the good and the bad. But let's not lose context. And that is, we've taken the love for one of our fandoms, and you've created these scenes. You've created this short film, and it is incredible. Look at that.
Cylons
Oh
roll.
my God.
Cylons do roll.
Phenomenal. That is phenomenal, Pete. It's really awesome. I remember when the first time I
Cylons
saw
were
that, I
so
was like,
fun.
I
They were
was
so fun
blown
to-
away when I saw that. I was just incredible.
Yeah, the only thing I have a
Incredible.
complaint is there's just way too many Cylons getting killed in this piece. So.
Oh, stop you!
I threw in one Viper destruction for
One or two.
balance.
I thought it was a couple there, wasn't it?
I think there's just one Viper that gets blown up, but thank you for your kind words. I mean, that's very flattering
There's
to hear all
one.
this. And
Yes.
I would just say you got to persevere, and that's kind of what
Yes.
That was my mantra that I reminded myself every day for 8 or 9 months while I was rendering this, is just just persevere. You're gonna do it. It doesn't matter what people say, because I'm gonna do it anyway.
Good for you. Because look at this. This is phenomenal. This is fun. This is fun. This is. Look at this.
Well, I'm glad it's fun, and that's one of the things that was super important to me. Is it should be fun, right? Not
This is
not
great.
so
Look at
dark
this.
and.
Nope.
And one thing I want to say is
Boo. Boo.
is the camera technique I use, where I'm using a lot of zooming and moving the camera around. Everyone says that I'm paying tribute to the RDM reboot, and I can assure you that I'm not. This is a technique I've used since I started doing CGI way back before the reboot existed. And to me, it's a reality of having a camera that is unlimited it's not limited in any way, right? It's a virtual camera. You can move it anywhere. You can zoom it infinitely almost. And I think these shots, with the camera being less static, it kind of makes it look a little less CGI to me. And also it helps convey the scale, because I've got little tiny ships next to a giant ship, and sometimes you need to switch zoom really fast to sort of show that scale. I wanted to show how big some of these ships are and how little some of these ships are in comparison. I really wanted to convey that. Because the Galactica is huge, and it should be shown as huge and intimidating in a way, almost.
Boo.
Oh, got him. Excellent.
Boo.
Good shot. Good shot. Oh, here we go.
That's beautiful.
All right. Take your moment there, Chris. Take your moment. All right. See, you got in a couple of good shots. And goodbye. Thank you. Wow, that was a great one. That was a good one. Look how cool that is, man. Pete, I got to tell you that, full disclosure, I actually stumbled into that controversy that you mentioned online.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it when it was happening, and I didn't know what it was. I kind of like stumbled on it, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? And then I was like, really? Why would anyone, what's the point of trying to take you down? I was like,
yeah, I don't know what that was about. I think some people just the I don't want to like identify the person, so it's hard for me to describe.
don't.
But I think
No, of course not.
some people.
That's not the point.
Some
Because
people
we know who
just,
it is.
yeah, it's not hard to find,
Right.
but I think he is just very into his hobby. I mean, I try and see the good in everything. He's very into his hobby. He's very committed, and I think he sees stuff like this as a threat to what he does.
That's cool, right?
Wow, that was a great shot.
That was straight up ripping Maverick.
Yeah,
I literally stole that from Maverick.
That was cool. You know, and you know, Pete, your I think your comment is very kind, and it's very well placed without having to be malicious in any way, and that's very admirable. And I think that's the spirit of creativity, and I'm glad that you've made this, and I'm glad that you weren't deterred by that encounter. Sometimes things, like you were saying, like just you persevered, and you found your way through it, because many people might just give up, just say, you know what, this is not worth it. Maybe I'll get more negativity, and then I'll give it a pass. And you didn't, and this is so cool, and I'm glad that you did not. This is worthy. This is no question about it. This is worthy, and glad that you've come on, and that we've got you here telling us a little bit about the mechanics of it and the background of it, and how you did it. And I'm glad that we're a part of getting the word out and entertaining everybody with this is great. I mean, look at this. How could you not enjoy this, guys?
Never got to see the Vipers extend the landing gear. It was never.
And three of them, landing at the same time is so freaking cool, man. Come on.
And there's the land ram. I had to work it in somewhere, right?
No, I love the land ram. Love the land ram.
Yeah, Pete's a big land ram.
Oh,
that and shuttle.
Ever since I was a cool.
So that's me there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had to put myself in there somewhere, right? As a vanity.
Of course.
Yeah. What the heck, man? Come on.
So he's in this, as far as the quote story goes, he's relieved that he didn't die, right? Because he just crash landed his Viper. But to me, that is me going, oh my God, I can't believe I actually finished this thing.
Excellent. You get a little director's cut play by play. Yeah, background information.
But this scene right here, where the ships are traversing right after this clip, is the one that I've gotten the most positive feedback about. And people just say things like, I almost was able to not cry until this shot right here that's coming up, where the ships are really tiny. And that's the one that's this one right here is the one that just is so stirring to people and really resonated with people way more than I thought it was going to. I thought I was going to get yelled at because I'm not using Battlestar Galactica music on this shot. I'm using Pond 5, something I got off Pond 5 that just seemed to fit perfectly. Pond 5 is a website for royalty-free music. But I just
wow, look at
I found this perfect clip, and it just seemed perfect. I thought I was going to get yelled at for not using Battlestar Galactica Stu Phillips music through the whole thing, and not one person ever said that.
So cool. Very, very awesome. I mean, congratulations. Congratulations, Pete Hirschberg. Thank you so much for sharing that and going all the way with it. So
I want to see some of the other things that you've done. It's like you're looking at somebody who's actually owned a arcade.
Yeah. So Google my name and Luna City, or just arcade, and you'll find I had an arcade of about 80 machines, I think, pinball and video. It was a huge building that I built next to our house. It was actually bigger than our house by a few feet. 2-story building, had it all decked out. There you go. if you click on photos, you'll see the pictures of the inside. Up at the top should be photos. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it's a big, huge building that we built specifically for making it an arcade. And like I said, I have a background in electronics, so I fixed every one of those machines. Bought them as junk, and would get the parts I needed and fix them up and repair them and keep them running. And they sure didn't want to stay working. That's one thing I can say.
Wow.
So yeah, that's where the background in electronics really helped me. I actually wrote a book. It's about my whole experience with the arcade. It's linked on my website. Yep. It's called, what is it, the Luna City book or something like that. But it was unfortunately a victim of a divorce. So this is all gone now. I have maybe, let's see, how many machines do I have? I think I have like 8 or 9 machines left. And my wife has about 10 pinball machines. Hers are mostly electromechanical, the older style. Somewhere in there, I can't quite make it out on that little screen thing. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, there's a link to the, like, it's a whole story with pictures of the construction and the guest book I had and the whole history of how I ended up building that and why I built it and why I lost it. I've been told it's a very good book. I don't consider myself an author in any way, but people who have read it said it's very good. So
cool.
You'll have to take their word for it.
Yeah, I've been to one other place that has probably just as many machines, and that's a guy's house in North Carolina. And he's got all of the old machines in there, and he keeps them up. And now it's a bed and breakfast, so you can actually go in there.
I've seen a lot of that. Yeah, that's a big thing now. Bed and breakfast arcades.
Yes, and one of my favorites has always been "Stop the Humanoid."
Yeah,
Berserker.
Well, yeah, I guess that was a Cylon voice.
Yep,
pretty much. They pretty much ripped off the Cylon voice for those robots. That's Berserk, is what you're talking about.
Yep, Berserk.
Rob Baum wants to know if there was ever a Galactica arcade game, or was the show over before that became a profitable idea?
I think
there was.
I think there was never. No, there was never. There wasn't even back in the day. There wasn't even a home version of the game. There was nothing, and I always thought that was weird. There's a Buck Rogers pinball machine,
right?
But there was never a Galactica anything, and maybe it makes me kind of sad. More recently, there's been PlayStation games and stuff like that, but yeah, I think. I never really knew why there weren't games for it, but I think that's probably a good explanation, is that the show was over too fast.
Too fast. Yeah, that's a shame, but man, oh man. Yeah, there was a portable game. That's right.
Yeah, the little handheld.
Yeah, the handheld.
Space Alert.
Yeah.
You're talking about.
Yeah,
that's right. Yep. I did have that. In fact, on my website, there's also a version of that you can download it and play it on your computer. If you go under,
awesome.
I've got all bases covered here.
Awesome.
If you click on my software over on the right, somewhere midway, there'll be a link to a program called Leadhead. Yeah, upper left. Boy. So that doesn't take you anywhere. Don't click on it. It'll just start the download. But that's a multi-Mattel handheld electronic game simulator that I made.
Yep, I used to play the NFL one all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's in there too, and of course Space Alert's in there.
Oh boy, look at that memory lane.
I'm a nerd.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, he had one of the other games in there. Is almost one of my favorite was the tank.
Yeah.
Defender game had a Viper type ship.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. Yeah. Remember Asteroids? Of course, Baz. Hey, Baz. How are you from down under? Yes, of course. Asteroids was a great one, man. Hey, Baz, I hope you got a chance to see the Perseverance that we just showed, man, because that was incredible. Worthy of another watch. If you guys haven't seen it, please do. Mediocre Modeler was gushing over it as well. So thank you for you
Vector
guys
Tanks.
putting stuff
That's
up.
it.
Yeah, Vector Tanks. I remember that.
I don't think it was.
Yeah,
I don't think that was the name of the classic game, but I can't remember
Battlezone was the original.
Battlezone. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those, and I have in my basement. I have a Battlezone cabinet with it's sort of between what Battlezone is and what Vector Tanks was. So it's like Battlezone 2 is what I'm calling it. But it's a custom game I've got running on a computer inside the cabinet.
That's a hell of a picture there.
There's a picture that I love a lot. Except that should be exploding.
Nice. No. Relax yourself. Calm down. That is so
That should be exploding.
Cool.
I
can do that if you want.
The only good Viper is the one that's exploding Viper.
So, Pete, what's next? Are you? I know that you were tinkering with Perseverance. Is there going to be another show that you might animate, or where do you go from here?
I'm not sure yet. Like the immediate term goal is to finish my model of the Galactica, and probably redo the scenes in Perseverance with my model if I finish it. I don't know if I'm going to have that much patience because I'm 2 months into it and already like thinking this is crazy. But I thought Perseverance was crazy, so maybe I'll
crazy.
Well, it's crazy to do. I mean,
yeah,
crazy to take on. But I have a lot of ideas that didn't make it into Perseverance that may make it into Perseverance 3 if there's a Perseverance 3, or I may do like another Galactica mini movie with these separate ideas. I got some crazy ideas.
Cool. And, we want to see them.
I just can't do everything at one time. So I can't model 24/7 and be making a movie at the same time. So I got to pick my battles. And right now the battle I'm fighting is modeling the Galactica.
Cool.
And it's, like I said, probably gonna take me a year if I can persevere.
Cool.
But yeah, cool, I do have plans for some future stuff.
And this is all just out of love. Yeah, this is great.
This is so cool. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Pete, and joining us on Interfleet Broadcasting. And you know that we're fans not only of 70s, 80s, and Battlestar Galactica, but we're a fan of yours as well. We love your work, and thank you for letting us put this up and sharing that with our fans and everybody out there, and keep the faith, like Richard Hatch used to say. And fans fuel the fleet is what we say, right? So we're the fans, and we're stepping up, and we're fueling the fleet, man. Everybody needs to have people like you that are willing to take on the good and the bad for what we like to do, what we love to do. And look at you, man. You made yourself a cool fan film that's out there for something that we all love. So
and you inspire others.
And inspiring all of us to continue. So very cool.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are so kind and very flattered that you had me on, and with all the praise and everything. Really, really appreciate it. It's been my pleasure.
And it's well deserved, Pete. It is. It really is. We're not blowing smoke into your face. This stuff is really, really cool. There's nothing that rivals what you put together, right? The Perseverance fan film that you did, nobody else has that. So it's so cool. It really, really is. You're worthy. Thank you. And please keep doing what you do. And we're here for you. So please come back when you got, the next evolution, or hopefully before you finish the Battlestar Galactica, the new, the new render that you're doing, right? hopefully before that, or even if it takes then, whatever it may be, just, give a holler, and please come back and share some more of this goodness that you got, because this is what we love.
Yeah, lots of
Absolutely.
people are saying the same thing online. Chuck
Oh.
is a big
Thank-
CG person, and he's like he's inspired by all of your work. He says,
Oh my gosh. I guess it's so weird to me that people feel that way, but it's heartening. It's very heartening. And a big, huge thank you to everyone who likes the movie and has said kind things about it, and to you guys.
Absolutely. It is fantastic. So keep at it, Pete, and keep us in mind. Open door policy for you. Please just reach out, and can we have a sneak peek when your model is done?
Oh, of course, yeah. Everyone will hear about it, even the guy that I got in a fight with.
So Pete, if you remember our conversation, and you want to do a premiere with us, we would be humbled to have you do that with us. We would really love to have you on again, and put that up, and then blast it out so that everybody can see it, and then all our fans can enjoy it as well. So please keep us in mind.
I will do that.
And don't forget, if you're heading out to any convention, let us know so that we could meet up. It would be great to see you in person, and have you come down, and wherever we are at, let us know if you're going out, and maybe we can intersect. We're going to Dragon Con, we're going to New York Comic Con. We finished a bunch of other conventions this year, but looking into next year, if you're going to be out there, let us know so we could meet up.
Yeah, I need to find a Galactica convention where they're going to have a studio scale model set up that I could take pictures of for reference for my model. I don't know if they would let me take pictures of it, get that close to it, but if somebody knows of a convention, please let me know if they have a studio scale Galactica set up, or any Battlestar. Could be any Battlestar.
And there you go, guys.
Yeah,
so let's help Pete out. Let's get the word out.
I need lots of photos.
All right. Well, come on, guys. Pete's asking. He needs some help to keep going forward and further with his work. So let's give him a hand. So all you guys out there, whatever you can, Pete, where can they get in touch with you? How does anyone look you up?
My email contact is on my website, peterhirschberg.com. It's probably the easiest way. If we're not Facebook friends already, probably just go to my website. It's the easiest.
Cool.
I think the upper left has the links in my email.
Good. And we can actually see your work there. Perseverance is there. I mean, it's been out and it's been floating around for a little while now. So if you guys want to go back and watch it again with, of course, the sound and the music that Pete put in.
Crank it up.
Crank it up. It's really cool, guys. I mean, I've seen it now, several times, and we really enjoy it. Even though the Tipsy Toaster has issues with too many Cylons being destroyed.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I think it's the way it should be. But here's to you, Pete. And Tipsy, are you still
Thanks,
drinking?
guys.
I don't know if you're
I'm still here. Yep.
I'm still there.
I'm having a hard time with the 3-person thing. So trust me, I'm here.
All right. Well, on behalf of IFB and Chris and myself, Pete, here's to you. Keep up the great work. Thank you for sharing. And fans, feel the fleet, buddy. Here's to you.
Thanks, guys. Talk later.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. That's very cool, man.
It's amazing.
I was like, when I saw it, I was like, I remember seeing there was the trailer that he had done, and I was like, what the hey?
Yeah, could you imagine the capabilities if those capabilities were around in 1978?
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, we can dedicate a whole episode, Chris, to what we did mention that we kind of know a little bit about, some of the scripts and some of the official memos that went out about who is going to be taken away, and Professor Patton and Superfan Fran we talked about how the Galactica was not going to be the second season, even if they didn't do the 1980, was not going to be what we wanted, but Chris, are you set to do the comic book?
Yeah, give me a second.
All right. Well, I picked up some of these guys. For those of you that are collectors of quote the card stuff, I don't know if you guys remember these, but I only had one of these. This is from the big cereals, Trix, Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs. So I only had one. I couldn't afford to get these boxes, multiple boxes of these cereals. So not too long ago, about a week ago, I saw these on eBay and I got them for a very, very reasonable price. And there was 16 of these. So I am now the proud owner of, I believe it's 5. Let me just double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. So there's more to come. I will share those as I pick them up here and there. They're actually stickers, so they're not really cards. They're stickers. So cool, and brings back a lot of memories for myself. Right, like I told you, I was only able to get one, and I quickly am probably going to be able to share this with you real quick because we want to get to that comic book. This. So there's Boomer in his glory, right? And this is a Battlestar Galactica Colonial Warriors promo card. This was the UK promo card, so it's a rare one. I have all of the American released promotional cards. This is the UK one. So I don't know how many of you guys have this one. I just got this, so this is really, really cool. So I don't know if Chris, are you ready? Chris is not ready. I'm sure he would just take over the wavelengths. I received oh, he is fantastic. Oh, good. Yes, this is Cylon Apocalypse, everyone. This is comic book number 3. Yes, we can.
Cool.
Yes, we can. So yeah,
this is number 3. So I've got a lot of it. So there's different covers, and I have all of them except for the Virgin.
Oh, okay.
The Virgin Incentive.
Right.
So this is I love the Lucifer.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He actually, he emotes, like his face is not, plastic, right. One face, it just changes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at that. Okay. It's not quite a Dama, but that's a good one. That's cool.
Yeah, this is the one I need for the I need the Virgin cover of this one.
I saw it on eBay.
I'm sure. I had to look for it. But anyways, so cool. If you remember remember a couple of, so 1 and 2, we're at number 3 now. It's been the Galactica and a wormhole and a huge Cylon planet on the other side of the wormhole. They need to get past it. The Galactica needs to get past it, and the one of the Cylons have actually attacked themselves because one of the IL series had created a goo that was supposed to turn the Cylons into a humanoid, but instead it actually drives them insane and makes them melt, kind of stuff. So that's kind of where we're at. And the thing once again, Pete loves this one. I'm not so great about it.
I love it very much.
Silent Apocalypse. Anyways, Silent Apocalypse. This one is kind of interesting. It's a side story almost. I mean, the majority of this comic is almost a side story. But so Adama, in his great wisdom in the last episode, the last book, he gave the, hey, you guys need to surrender, and the Cylons are like, no, we're not going to surrender. And so Adama said, okay, fine, we're going to annihilate your entire race. So Adama is not a good person. Really? He's going to annihilate the entire race. And he's like, oh yeah, go ahead, guys. Everybody load up the missiles. So they're putting missiles and bombs together to go take out the planet and totally annihilate, the Cylons.
Yes. Is it
Permanently, forever.
Do you know where the button is? Because I'll press it.
No, it's somewhere in there.
Okay. So Rob Baum is concerned that something may happen to you, but I assured him that you will not be melting by touching the pictures.
No. So this, like I said, it starts out a little bit with a back end, and then it goes to this couple of pages here with Starbuck. So Starbuck has gone to the what is this ship?
Rising Sun?
Rising Star. And there is a black market type thing, and he's buying a ring.
Ooh.
And the guy behind the thing is like, "Oh, you're gonna get married?" He's like, "Oh, shut up! I'm not getting married," kind of deal. So he's really taking it hard. And then a lot of cool things here is they're utilizing a lot of the stuff from the show. I don't remember who the writer is for this. Who was the writer? Xavier.
Xavier Grillo,
Yes.
Mark Swatch.
Anyways, he must have been a fan of the show or did a crap ton of research, because a lot of the stuff in here, it's talking about mushies. It's talking about one of the things here says, "Oh, for Sagan's sake." So they're using a lot of the jargon, sealing ceremony.
Yeah.
So is there a sealing ceremony?
Ooh.
So that's when Starbucks like, no, there's not a sealing ceremony. I'm not gonna And it talks about her being a solicitor, and then he says no, she's not a solicitor anymore. She's a med tech. So a lot of this is cool. Really good back end story on it.
Wow.
I was impressed. But once again, it kind of just jumped to this piece, so it's almost like a side quest. And then we finally get to Adama, and this is the briefing kind of deal that he's supposed to go to. So Starbucks running late because Chris, he goes here.
You stand corrected by Professor Padden. It's socialator, not solicitor.
Yeah, you're right. Socialator. That was a quick read. Same thing.
No.
But so this is the briefing. So Starbuck finally makes it to the briefing, and Adama's like, "Oh, we need to take initiative. We need to surprise these people. So we're going to go to Lightspeed." And it's like, okay, well, we haven't been to Lightspeed in over 20 years, 20 yarns. And it's like, she was not going to make it. And then, she'll take it. And Starbuck comes to Adama's defense and says, yeah, she's going to do it. She's been fine. And, they're like, well, it's nice of you to show up. But once again, he's sucking up to Adama. And he's like, okay, the crucial part of this whole thing, even though we're going to bomb the snot out of these guys and totally annihilate their race.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it's just horrible to begin with idea. So
goodbye.
He says it's going to take a while for that to happen, so it's crucial that they hit the center mind piece here, which is kind of displayed here. So that's kind of one of the goals. Then we switch over to that center mind piece, and we're back into the Cylon. So this is where we meet back up with...
Who's that?
Who's what? Well, this is the...
Who's that guy?
So this was the one... So, Bilal.
Okay.
And then it's
not Lucifer, is it?
No, it's not Lucifer. It's
not Spectre.
No. But anyways, this is the one that sent the ships to destroy the base star that he was on and had the experimental stuff. And he's like, well, the Imperious leader, he gifted me with all of the knowledge, and I was supposed to create this thing. And he says, yeah, but you created whatever. This is there any way you can, is there any way you can stop the nanocybrids from infecting all of us? And he says, no, they cannot be. I created them to evolve the Cylons, not to be neutralized. And of course, he's like, well, then your fate is the same as ours. So they pretty much know they're going to die.
So sorry. Bye-bye.
So they're getting ready, and they're like, okay, everybody off. They're getting evacuating people off the Galactica because they're going to light speed, and they're going to use that for the attack. So a little exchange between Boxy and his dad. And sure enough, once again, we drop back to the actual show because he's like, you can't, it's like he's saying you can't go, but Boxy's like, well, I went to the Ravishal Pulsar on Arcta.
Ooh.
I'm like, whoa. So
Good one.
And Apollo's like, no, you stowed away on a snow ram. You're still grounded for it. Grounded? Since when? I helped set Agron seeds from the Sector, which is when they went to the planet where Starbuck, Serenity. Sector was the planet, and Serenity was the town for them to go get seed. And so grounded since when I helped get the seeds, and then everyone the Cylons crashed, and so you think you're ready to go pilot a Viper, and they go back and forth, and like no, I guess not. You're right, Father, kind of deal, and sends him off in a shuttle.
That's right.
That's it.
Nice.
So here we go back to Starbuck. Ooh. Is he going to pop the question?
And it's Cassiopeia, not Athena.
Thank God. It's the only good thing about this whole series so far.
Okay.
That he's not after Athena.
All right.
He doesn't deserve her.
Let's see. So what happens?
So he's like talking to himself in the hallway. He's like, Cassiopeia, I was wondering if you would, Cassiopeia, what a man, season of carnage and combat and suffering. He gets to thinking that maybe he needs to be a little more open with his feelings. And dang it, Cassie, I love you. I love your Geminis. And suddenly here's Starbuck, and it's her. He's like, she overheard. You're talking to yourself? He says, yeah, a little bit. I says, what are you scheming? He says, nothing. I just wanted to see you. Well, here I am. Okay. Ooh, so, right, you just wanted to tell you that, what did you want to tell me? Sorry, no. He
runs off.
Yep, he kisses her and runs off. So he doesn't pop the question.
All right. And then
now we're back to Cylons. They're out patrolling, and the Galactica pops in, and they're like, He's like, red alert! And then, of course, Adama's like, kill them all! Launch all Vipers!
Yes,
annihilate them totally!
Goodbye.
Commit genocide! Is what he's doing.
Not what he said.
That's what he's doing.
And that's not what's going on here.
So, really cool launch sequence here. The sets here. You got the Viper push, the going through. You can almost hear the I know it's, but you can hear it in your mind after you've watched it enough. And then, of course, Raider squadrons are moving to intercept. And then, of course, there is a big battle. Nice. Great battle scenes, beautiful battle scenes. Great, anti-aircraft from the planet. You even got a couple of Vipers exploding, which is kind of cool. And then, but really good pictures. I mean, beautiful photos.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
And then, it moves right along well.
Is that Jolly?
Yep, Jolly's in the middle.
All right, there's a bad glare on that, just so you know. There you go. Yep, there you go. That's it. Yep. Oh, so, man, that's so cool.
Lots of great photos here. And then, they're like, so they're bombing the place. And, of course, they start to get the goo on them and start to die. And they hit a building with a bunch of civilians in it. And,
they're just Cylons.
But civilian Cylons are dying. Look,
they're
civilians.
Evolving.
They're civilians.
They're evolving.
No, you're killing them. Look at the poor civilian Cylons. Even a gold Centurion there.
He's evolving.
And then they finally, they're doing all this. Somebody gets hit. And it's Starbuck.
Who's that? Nope. Yep. He's going to survive. He better.
So, of course. But
let's go. Turn that page now.
We got Starbuck. He gets hit. And then they hit the mainframe like they're supposed to. And they're like, I'm not leaving. And Adama's like, pull out. We're done. Let's get out of here. And I'm not leaving. And says, he did his job. Now you do yours. And Adama's like, Apollo's like, I can't leave him. And Adama's like, we don't have a transponder signal. He's dead. And then to be concluded, not continued.
Wow.
Concluded
because it's the last one.
So
is the next one.
More advertisements for different ones. Raise the Dead looks interesting. Lone Ranger, Red Sonja, Savage Tales.
Hey, Rocky, watch the Cylon shoot Starbuck down and force him to crash land again?
Again, yeah.
That's from Professor Padden, yes. Look at that.
But he never crash lands again.
Yeah.
And then I was lucky enough to come across, so Pete was showing off what he's got over the week. I came across this.
Nice. What the heck?
This is a fanzine, or a fan book.
So much. Yeah.
A fan book, and it's called Battlestar Galactica, The Plot. But it's funny that it's a Barky Yorkies Outlaw Express press publication. So printed with permission, Peg Kennedy and Bill Hoop, Foxtrot Flats, Madison, Michigan. Amazing. Fan publication, authorized reprint by Peg Kennedy and Bill Hupp, Foxtrot Flats. I don't know if they are the actual authors because they don't list the author.
Professor Padden, do you know anything about this?
So they don't list the author for this one. So it's a story. It's got Baltar in it and kind of what his backstory a little bit is. And it's 45 pages. And it's a single. It's not like a fanzine. It's more of a fan book. So it's there, and of course, yep. And then
interesting.
Looking for more TV movie tie. Funny how they messed up. They put in tie.
Oh, it's blurry. Okay, there you go. Tie-in books.
They had to put the in there because I missed it. So try the Media Hound. We have books galore with added all the times. Our books runs from fair to mint condition. No poor conditions here.
Nice.
Send a legal size. Sase.
Ooh, Sace.
Sace.
Self-addressed stamped.
Okay. For a free catalog now, you won't be disappointed.
Nobody knows what that means anymore. But anyway, so
that's
by the way, we want to make sure that we got
that. I was able to do that.
Oh, there's more.
I was able to get the Virgin.
Cool. He's melting.
Yep.
I'm melting.
Now I just need one. I need the negative.
So Chris, Hershey Comic-Con, the sweetest Comic-Con on earth, is July 1 and 2 at the Holiday Inn, Hershey, Harrisburg area.
Pennsylvania?
So just to make sure. Yeah, let's make sure. I didn't know if that needed clarification. I just put it out there.
Cool.
So we come to the end of another great episode. Thank you, and apologies for getting here late. I thank John 1 again for stepping up and taking care of covering for me and bringing in our guests. So, guys, thank you very much. Please make sure that you subscribe, that you hit the like buttons. We're getting the views that we're getting on our show, on the coverage from AwesomeCon is through the roof. And we're very humble.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much for tuning in and watching all that stuff. We really appreciate it, guys. Yep.
Don't forget to, if you get a chance, go check out Diana Durango's IMDb and George Kirakopoulos' IMDb. Just go to IMDb and look for Stranded Warrior and click on all of the actors there.
George Tsouvalos and
give them
just everybody.
Give them a hit so they can, move the little star meter thing back and forth is important to them. So they want to make sure.
Yes, as professional actors, that means a lot to their. It's a career gauger. So please, if you get time to do that as well. And we're looking forward to having you next week on the show. So please, guys, thank you for taking the time out and tuning in, and we appreciate it. So
cool. So So thanks thanks everybody. Here's to you. We'll be back into. It's going to take us another week to get back into location, but when we come back, we'll let you know. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.